speak about. And then also, when you buy a property, it can happen that you'd want to move in before the property registers under your name. So under the OTP, which is the offer to purchase that will be the contract for the purchase, there's something called occupational rent that you can pay. What occupational rent is, it's the amount of money that you pay as rent for staying in the property before it registers. So those are some of the costs that you can encounter when buying property. Also, other costs that you can encounter is that if you happen to finance the property through the bank, that's where now you have to pay fees such as bond registration fees. For the bank to register your property, there are fees for that. Also, there's an attorney that is involved for that specific transactions. So those are the first few costs that are involved in buying a property. And then when it comes to selling a property, there's also quite a number of things that you can consider when selling a property. Firstly, it depends on how you're going to market the property. Are you going to sell the property yourself, or are you going to ask an agent to market your property? So if you do happen to go with allowing an agent to market the property on your behalf, you'll be accountable to pay the agent's commission. You know, that's the first thing. It's the agent's commission. The normal rate is about 7.5% in South Africa. There isn't a fixed rate which states how much it should be paid. So normally normally the seller and the agent are the ones that negotiate the price when it comes to the agent's commission. That's the first point. The second point is that if your property is under a bond, it is wise of you to always give a notice 90 days prior before canceling the bond. Because if you don't do that, that's where you can incur costs such as bond cancellation fee. There's also penalties that you can encounter from that, such as a penalty bond interest. So if you do have a property that is still underfinanced by the bank, even though the property, you don't owe anything to the property, you still need to let the bank know that you are considering canceling the bond. Also, when it comes to rates and taxes, so like I mentioned last week, these are costs that you pay to the municipality. So if it happens that there are outstanding amounts that haven't been paid, you will need to pay for those amounts. So that's rates and taxes. And then also, if you happen to stay in a sectional title scheme or a homeowners association scheme, which is complexes or places such as estates, you might be liable to pay any outstanding levies if there's any levy amounts that are in areas. Also, the law requires of us to always make use of to have certificates when selling the property. So there's certain certificates that you need to pay for, which are electrical certificate. So electrical certificate is a certificate that shows that the property is in compliance with the South African rules with regards to how the electricity is in the property. So there's electrical certificates, there's gas certificates, and also there's electric fence certificates. So that's something that I could say it's a cost. Another one is if it happens that you have misplaced or lost your title deed, the attorney can actually charge you in order to get another title deed from the council. And then the last cost that I'll mention is any repairs. It can happen that you might want to repair the property before you actually market it, because if it happens that the property isn't in a very good condition, whenever an agent brings the buyer to the property, they can simply pinpoint things that need to be replaced, and that could affect your price at the end of the day. So those are the few things that I mentioned. I'll just quickly summarize what I said. So like I said, when you buy a property, the costs that are involved, it's transfer costs, there's bond costs, and also there's occupational rent if you want to move in before the property registers under your name. And then if you're selling the property, the costs that are involved, it's the agent's commission. Firstly, you have to pay for the certificates. Thirdly, if your property is under a bond, you'll need to you need to make provision to pay for bond cancellation fees. Also, if there's any outstanding amounts such as rates and taxes, levies, that also needs to be accounted for. So essentially, those are the simple costs involved in buying or selling a residential property.
Interesting. It's 2 minutes after 4 o'clock. Tony, I think from your side, there's just a lot of feedback. Are you on speaker?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, please switch off the speaker. I think it's the one that is giving feedback because of as you speak. Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I understand.
Awesomeness. Before we go to CC's to-dos, so me. Very important. Look, the business of property is not an easy one, and there's just a lot of hiccups that people, bump into in the process. But I think while we're still on this, and I'm glad that Ustitizwe is with us as well, just outside the finances and looking at issues around the contractual things, and as she comes through as someone who's an artisan in the field, why is it that it takes so long for instance, renovations or extension plans to be approved, and people only for people to tell you that if you pay me 60,000, if you pay me 50,000, 30,000, your plan can be approved quicker? What makes it to take so long to be approved, and why is it that if you pay more money, if you bribe, it is likely to be approved quicker? Just as a side note, Studuzi, you can just jump in and clarify that for me.
Hello there again. So I think the process would basically be with the municipality itself and the procedures that they undergo to have that plan approved. Of course, you'd expect a reasonable time in which your plan would be approved, but times have changed that even with regards to issuing of rate clearance certificates, there's so huge a loophole that people are only willing to assist you faster if there's something in it for them. So I'm talking maybe like people would require incentives under the counter. So it's just an unfortunate situation where sometimes people would do their job when there's something in it for them underneath otherwise. But purchasers, sellers, everyone should just expect a reasonable amount of time for their plans to be approved. If not, then it's always unlikely that you have to go that route in order to get the work to be done.
Interesting. After 4 o'clock, we are on the Backlab on 20 FM 93, and we are okay. Now I know why things are proper in terms of our feedback on. Let me take a quick the technical issues with my and I'll bring one on this one. It's a song titled Molo. It's a great afternoon, man. It's a great afternoon. How jiving, man. How been monati, man. I'll bring one on this one. It's Molo, and after that, we should be able to fix the issue with the mics for my guests for today. Yeah, that's Molo by Oprimwana. This is still the Bagla right on 20 FM 93.6. Thank you so much for your listening pleasure. If you are on 20 FM 93.6, I believe that the mic start to back now. Yeah, Stu,
Yes, I'm here.
where's Stu? Ugahle.
Yeah, but right weather.
I'm man sharp man. Now let's yeah.
Hello.
Hi, there's a feedback that we're receiving from your side.
I don't know what it might be.
Yeah, you know, this feedback is not legally right. Stu. As a legal person,
It's not in order.
is not in order.
Are you still picking it up as I speak right now?
I'm still picking it up.
How about now?
When you speak, just after you've said something, I think the best thing is because of you and in office, maybe you can just lump it and use the same Zoom. Are you on loudspeaker? Hello?
Hello.
Are you on loudspeaker?
Yes, I am.
No, I think you must move from the loudspeaker. Loudspeaker or headsets.
Oh, okay. All right, I think it might be the headsets which is gonna help.
Okay. So are you sorted now? Tony? Are you still with us, Tony? Hi, Stutu. Okay, yeah. It seems I've lost them there. So it's 12 minutes after the hour of 4 o'clock, and I'll try and get them back once again. But for now, I think I'll just continue with the music, man. Let's move to Makati in Limpopo, and this one is titled Matorokis. I hope you guys are going to enjoy this one. Yeah, but she's a Movenda girl doing amazing things. I must tell you, this lady with this Matorokisi song. Yona le Jerusalem were definitely dubbed to be the songs that are going to finish the year. So here's my cuts on this one. Haka Matorokisi. Hakamatorikis on this one. It's just 18 minutes after the hour of 4 o'clock, and we are still on the Bar Club. Interesting things that we're having through. And we're joined now by the lovely Sidu. I'm calling her Sidu, Miss Msomi, who's speaking to us today. Ninjansis.
Siyaphila njani bhuti?
Yaphile ngiyabona iyakuphazamisa le technology yazi.
Eish, angijwayele kodwa-ke ngiyabonga ukuthi ningiplage for me to be out there, so ngizoyijwayela.
Yeah, awukhiphe le mask ukubone kahle kanti kwenze njani? Sifuna ukubona kahle.
Okay.
Yeah, utho ukuthi uzifihlile nje la.
Ngiyaphila as uThoni beseshilo ukuthi nguSiduduze Msomi ngwase-Eunice and Stroley Attorneys la esebenza khona neindaba zama-properties. Ngibe admitted early this year as an attorney and a conveyancer, and ngiyabonga kakhulu for this opportunity.
Awusitshele kahle umsebenzi wenu, what does it entail?
Transfer of properties into igama le purchaser, opening of sectional titles, like the different estates, so the opening of it, starting from scratch, working with the developers, opening of townships as well. So all things property, basically.
Just on opening of townships, what becomes your role in the opening of townships?
So a submission of the application at deeds office, because kumele deeds office be aware that there's a particular township that has been opened, duly so, because you are expecting transfers to take place from that township. So already after applications have been made with the municipality, everything is in order there. The deeds office have to note that there's a township existing. They become the township file so that they know if there's a transfer of a property from Umhlabe to the township, where is that coming from? Do we have record of it? Was it registered legally? Is it recognized? So from that point of view.
Interesting. 21 after 4 o'clock. This is the Bar Club right on 20 FM 93.6. It is the station that continues to rock you most Sinani every Monday till Friday between 2 and 6 p.m. And on Zoom now, Sis Stu Msomi. I Musmangi Stu Msomi, ne?
Ayi biza kahle because abanye bayathanda ukuthi Sidu. No, it's do. We shy.
Yeah, I'm legally correct. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm a transfer fees. Expensive, and I would like just to open it up a bit. In what designer are you guys the ones entrusted with deciding if your property engaga isuka kulomuntu onjena then the fee will be this much, and if it's in this location, the fee will be this. Are you guys the attorneys entrusted with the specific method, or I mean, the specific powers of deciding on what the price should be. And also, okay, maybe just answer that one first before I jump into my other questions. The listener needs to know.
So Law Society gives guidelines yearly, quarterly, depending on when they issue out those guidelines, so that attorneys will not undercharge and will not overcharge clients. So lauma guidelines also guide what is exorbitant, what is unreasonable, and then the final transfer fees which are charged would be obviously between the agreements between the attorney and clients. In other words, I can still lower them for you, give you a discount. So they're not set in stone, but they are guidelines, and you are not supposed to undercharge or overcharge. Also undercharge, that can be regarded as touting, and that's like you stealing clients, which would mean that most clients will come to you and not to the other firms. So yes, there are guidelines issued.
But how would they know if chargeless, as it is between you and I? I just want to know how transparent is the process.
Well, law societies would only come in if someone makes them aware of something. So obviously, if you have undercharged me, I wouldn't go and say, oh my goodness, because clients would be happy, right? But if you've overcharged me, then I would go to the society and let them know. So it is for the attorney to be the one cautious, I don't undercharge, because we're keeping doors open. But basically, the law society will come to knowledge of anything that is made known to them. Otherwise, it's between you and the client upon the guidance.
Interesting. It's just 24 minutes after the hour 4 o'clock, and we are still right on the Buckle Up on Swan FM 93.6, which is Kulumanat at this point in time, and we're discussing really, the cost involved in the buying and selling of property. A very important thing, especially to first-time buyers or first-time sellers. A lot of people are not knowledgeable in terms of what exactly is the industry benchmark in terms of the transfers fees. If you can just take me through roughly, if I'm buying a house in an estate, is there a specific benchmark that is made, or is it area-based in terms of how much should it be? It's just transfers.
Oh yeah, so everything starts on the purchase price.
Okay.
Because also with the deeds office fees, there are scales according to the purchase price that you are working with. So it cannot be estimated. So you have to really take it case by case basis, and the purchase price is the guideline. That's why even when someone calls in and asks for a very rough quotation, you just have to have the purchase price on hand, then we are able to guide from there.
Interesting. Checking some of your comments there as we are coming through to you live, also on YouTube. And of course, I'll be jumping into Facebook to check some of your comments and also those messages that are coming through via WhatsApp. Thank you so much for your listening pleasure, with everything that is happening through in terms of the buying and selling. As costs, from a legal point of view, a lot of people back if I'm buying a property or if I'm selling property, you guys, the attorneys, together, you join up together with the sales agents, and we're going to cheat him. And again, I think for me, it's an issue of transparency. It's an issue of how guarded is the system. Can you just take me into confidence in terms of how guarded is the system?
Yeah. Okay, so number one, layer transparency between the clients and the attorney has to be there all the time in terms of explaining what is this cost made up of, how did you come up to this amount. So the attorney has a duty to provide full explanation and to just give a clear picture to the purchaser on where am I taking this amount from. And And so with regards to the costs that are supposed to be paid by the seller, I'll start with that. So in a normal transaction, a very basic one, you have your transfer attorneys, your cancellation attorneys, as well as your bond attorneys. So now with the seller, if there's an existing bond, as Tony had also touched on it, that bond would have to be cancelled. So those are definitely the costs for the seller, whether that bond is fully paid or not. And with regards to all the certificates, which also Tony touched on, the electrical compliance certificates, gas, if there's any gas, electrical fence, if there's an electrical fence, those are borne by the seller. So the transparency is really on the duty of the attorney to give a clear description and a clear explanation to the client on what goes on. If the client is not satisfied, they're always free to go and consult with another attorney or just speak to say, this is what I'm getting, is this reasonable, what is happening, because it doesn't look right, etc. But the attorney has that duty.
Okay, let's jump into the common mistakes or the common challenges that you picked up that people are making, especially in this business of buying and selling of property. If I'm a listener now and you were just to sort of educate me, mindful of when buying or selling property.
I think the one that I mostly come across with regards to the rate clearance figures and the rates clearance certificates and the property rates that come through. So by law, you are not supposed to transfer any property which is owing. In other words, if I owing of the rates and taxes, rates and taxes, sorry. So if I am now going to be living in this house, I cannot be liable on the cost that you were supposed to pay the municipality, and now I'm incurring it. So the law protects you that at the deeds office, the rates clearance certificates need to be lodged during the process of registration so that there can be confirmation that all the payments of the outstanding rates, no matter how many years ago, have been fully paid and you are taking it over on a clean slate. So with regards to a normal freestanding freehold house, you have to first apply. Have to apply at the City of Tshwane for the rate clearance figures. Those figures will basically be the amount that you need to clear off so that the new purchaser starts on a clean slate. The application at the City of Tshwane for this certificate to be issued to say you are owing this amount, that amount is paid by the purchaser. But the figures which need to be cleared out now have to be paid by the seller. So purchasers must be very wary. They must never be asked to pay both the application fee and the outstanding rates, clearance, taxes, and figures, which have to be cleared out before they get the transfer of the property. Yeah.
Interesting. It's 30 minutes after the hour 4 o'clock, and we are still speaking to Usis Du Somen, who's our attorney for today. Opportunities, the most basic things that and this is where I think people need to be mindful of the fact that they need an attorney in estates. There's something that is very important, and I won't mention the name of the company. At some point, while purchasing property, I actually discovered this service that was not so fulfilling for me, for instance, where I came and when I came to sign on that day of my appointment, I signed my documentation, like some of my details were not correctly captured, for instance. And I'm spending my money. I'm sitting I'm spending my money. The attorney company, or printed wrong information. In that case, who has to be liable of the cost you travel? Because of now, I'll have to come back again. You guys have to come seek me so that I can sign the correct papers.
So basically, first of all, you shouldn't even need to be coming back, because they can just ask you to wait patiently for 1 or 2 minutes and rectify that error. But in some cases where you are unable to do that, for example, you are not signing in the office, but you are signing at a coffee shop or elsewhere, then I think from logic sense, we made the mistake. So the next time we should drive to you and sign the correct documents, because the mistake was made by ourselves in the first place. And depending on the type of a document, there's no need to be driving backwards and forth, but you can just merely rule a neat line over the incorrect detail, write it nicely next to the incorrect information, and then initial next to it. So when I say it depends on the particular documents, for example, if you have to now perusing the deed of transfer, because when you are signing with your attorneys, they have to show you the draft deed of transfer as it will appear at the deeds office when it's being registered. So if, for example, they got your ID number wrong, you can't just rule it over, because that is a document which will be registered at the deeds office. So it will have to be rectified nicely. Whole new documents need to be drafted from scratch. And then that expense of going backwards or forward is unfortunately unavoidable. But if it's like an affidavit of some sort, then you can do the amending and the initialing next to, depending on the documents. Your attorney will guide you.
And now from a seller's point of view, what would be your advice? What is it that I need to be mindful of from a legal point of view? You know, people
Yes.
are crooked. What is it that you would say I must be mindful of?
I think advising it would be, do not trust then an attorney, not trust an attorney, but don't trust any person who's telling you that, okay, just sign it now, then I'll amend it later. You know, just make sure that you see the amendment and you guys are going forward with an amended document. Or if there's anything that you need to sign, or I don't know, any complications, just ask the person to send you the amended documents, then you issue your authorization that you need to give through. But don't 100% trust that the amendment will be done afterwards and be necessarily correct. Just be comfortable to say you've seen it being changed, and then we're moving on with the correct document.
Interesting. We're going to take a quick, short break to one song, and this one is by Sanko Vision, and it's titled Koko Matsole. 35 minutes after the hour, 4 o'clock. We are still right here on the Buckle Up, right on Tshwane FM 93.6. This one is Koko Matsole, and it's DJ Sanko featuring Queen Jenny.
No matter where you go, remember the
road that will lead you. No matter where you go, remember the road that will lead you. Yeah, it's definitely Master KG on this one. It's a song titled, Remember the Road That Will Take You Home. Of course, just before that, he was convention with a song titled Koko Matwale, a very interesting tune. I'm back with the lovely Sidum. So it keeps on saying Tony Mampur. Maybe we must change it to Usduman because people are going to think Buto Nonje.
Izinto ziyenzeka mhlawumbe uthona unje mabangabuzi imibuzo.
Yeah, or was it umathoni lo akunankinga. Yeah, just in moving forward, what are the other elements that are quite empirical for our listener ekhaya, especially in terms of attention to detail in purchases as a property or in selling a property from a legal point of view?
Well, it's important that whatever it is that people wish to embark on, they must do their research so that alarms can go off if they see something which is foreign from what they understand is going to happen. It's really not even maybe from the legal point of view, but from the logic sense of it, So, and also people must ask questions. They must never feel that, oh my goodness, an attorney is speaking to me and it's daunting or anything. They must just feel free and they must ask their questions and be satisfied. And if there are any doubts, they are always free to just waive their position or waive their requirement to sign at the moment and say, I need time to think about this. And when you say you need time to think about it, go and consult, go and do your research if you are wary. So purchasers, sellers, they're always invited to do their own research, to do their own due diligence, to satisfy themselves that, okay, this makes sense. Yeah.
Now, young Charlotte Technology, 46 minutes after the hour 4 o'clock. We're still with our Sidu, it's Ausdu Msomi, who's speaking at this point in time, and she is an attorney. Is it attorney conveyancer?
Yes, attorney conveyancer, and then YIMLO, looking forward to write my notary exam, and then I'll be the fully fledged flying eagles, so they call themselves.
Oh, awesomeness. So what would be your title at the time?
Attorney, conveyancer, and notary.
And notary.
Yes.
Interesting. And Ghana, what is your primary role? Is it really just about property?
Yes, it is, especially with the conveyancing, because even with the notary, it goes together with the conveyancing profession. The two complement each other. For example, there are certain documents which a conveyancer would need to have to be drafted by a notary. So if you're a notary and a conveyancer, then it makes things easier for you. So all things property, conveyancer, and notary.
Fantastic. The other burning question that a lot of people have is, if ngithengisa indlu lokishini, kuyadingeka nje vele ukuthi ngifollowe yonke le procedure le, or ngavele sivumelane nomngani wami uThabisa ukuthi hayi bafowethu Hayi man, mina nje ngifuna 50,000 nje ngifuna ukuzibona ngiphumile la eGoli, ngifuna ukubuyela ekhaya eKZN mama la yindlu wena. I've seen cases on various TV shows where you know proper paperwork was not done and the likes. So I just want to know in that case if nje ngiyazithengisela nje izilokishini niyadingeka yini?
Ave sidingeka kakhulu 155%, like whatever number, the highest number that there is in the world, that percentage, because I've come across recently, actually, this is so funny you asking me, because it's really happening out there, where people would think that uma ngabe ngidayisela uSithembisa indlu faneka nginikeze 50,000 rand sihambe siye municipality, and then la change khona i-account of your rates and taxes into Sithembisa's name. We're gonna think that e-transfer is finalized, yet everything happens at the deeds office. If nothing had happened at the deeds office, uSithembisa is not the owner of that property. So if I can just make a very brief example, I'm currently having a client who bought a property in Lokshini for about 50,000 rand. Bahamba baya kwa municipality, city of Tshwane, bashitsha the ownership of the account, and now it happens she has done improvements on the property. Wa extender, you know, uneingane. She thinks that ingane will have ikaya, but once upon a time, she inquired on the title deed, and it still speaks to the very first owner who was issued this RDP house, which means that there had been a chain of transfers via the municipality and not via the deeds office. So now it's no way that it's owned by her. She needs to find the very first owner so that it can be rectified and be in her name, because she cannot go back to the latest seller because Guayana akekho title deed. So abantu must be very careful of that. Never accept the fact that you have to go to a municipality. Want to see a title deed, then it's a real deal. It must have your name, your marital status, your ID number in full to say you are the owner. Otherwise,
how long does it take to buy a change from my name to your name?
Well, it's a process that starts from obtaining of all the documents, right? From the city of Tshwane, your transfer duties. And once all of that is in place and you lodge your matter at the deeds office, not more than 2 weeks. So you just give it between 5 to 10 working days, not more than 2 weeks, it will be finalized. It definitely takes a bit longer than you going and standing in a queue, yes, the city of Tshwane or whichever other municipality, but it's the right way to do it.
So ngizobhadala futhi la kini ama-transfer costs?
Yes, of course.
How much are we looking at?
It, like I said before, like it depends on the purchase price. The purchase price determines, because there's a sliding scale to say if you are registering a property of this amount, then this is the deeds office fees, and accordingly this would be the attorney's fees. That guideline that I told you is from the Law Society.
Yeah.
As well as
okay, yeah, please come in. Okay, come in first.
As well as the bond as well, which you are cancelling, that fee is also determined upon what is the amount of the bond. So once you have your amount, then yeah.
I can see sithenga le ndlu yaselokishini, le situation ye-client yakho nga 50,000. Angisho phela le 50,000 awudetermine ama-agent. Yimi esivumelene nalo muntu engimthengiselayo.
Maybe, can I use an example of the transfer that I'm doing right now? In Lokshini, you 500,000 in purchase price, and that's the 500,000 purchase price, and everything all in all, we're looking at like 20,000 or so. 20,000
transfer fees.
Fees which have to be paid. So we also have to distinguish between the transfer fees and all the other fees that are required. So the transfer fees go straight to the attorneys, and then you may find other fees. For example, getting your transfer duty receipts, that's a separate fee. The attorneys are not involved there. And
how much
then
roughly?
Maybe
20,000. Oh, Malin, Leo feel.
okay, kuchajwa is system to do everything that you have to do there, and that's like 100 rand. It sounds little, that's 100 rand. Then we also have postage and petties. That will be the miscellaneous runaround costs for getting the job done. And then you'd also have the cost for applying for your rates clearance certificate, so that you know how much you are owing at the municipality. So that amount which you owe at the municipality, it's an additional fee in itself. You also have to cover it. It's separate from the transfer fees. And when I look at my list here, also the FICA documents for the attorney to verify the identity of a person. We are aware of our FICA Act. That is separate from the transfer fee. So the transfer fees is basically paying the attorney what they are doing, but there are other disbursements. And from the example I made, all of this combined would be reaching your 20,000.
But it's not that bad.
Plus minus. Yeah, it's not that bad. And it also comes back to planning and doing your research to say that I have to do this. How can I structure my finances to prepare myself that by this time, this transfer has to happen, you know? So prepare yourself, research, and be in a position where you will not feel like you are being robbed when you are being charged a reasonable amount of money to get the job done.
So who pays for this transfer fees? Is it me, the buyer, or the seller?
It is you, the buyer. You ufuna ukuthi ngikudayisele le ndlu manje fanele ngikukhokhele ukuthi bese egameni lakho. No. And yonke into iyakhokhelwa bhuti.
It's hectic. Now the other thing that is important for me is an RDP house. I'm sure there's a government uyonika abantu.
Yeah.
Is it lawful to sell them?
Well, there's usually a condition laphaya we title deed oyitholayo eshoyo ukuthi maybe a person is not allowed to sell that house within a period of 5 years after it being transferred to them from umasipala. And if that 5 years has not lapsed, you are not allowed to sell it. If the 5 years has not lapsed, but you still desperately want to sell it, you need to get a consent from the municipality, which will be lodged at the deeds office to say, even though there's a condition that says I'm not supposed to sell this property within 5 years, here is my permission from the city council to say I can still sell it. In that case, you can go ahead and sell it lawfully. But
from a social point of view, should we be allowing the reselling of RDPs?
Well, it all depends on the circumstances of that person and that standpoint. Why do they want to sell it? But I also think I understand your question in the sense that wawungenayo indlu. So indaba uyidayisa, you know, and nangu government to say, Pile, just live here, this is your home. Why would you want to sell it? But you may find that abantu bala esoshanguve, and then they're saying that there's nothing here for me anymore. I'm moving to my rural villages, Ekhaya Legwa Nongoma, and so I want to sell this house. And then you
know what's my problem?
Yeah.
I'm going to sell this house like Soshanguve. There's someone who was born or who has been in Soshanguve who deserved this house and never got it. And I'm going back to apply for another RDP.
Yeah.
Boyfriend Cape Town. Boyfriend Cape Town. So tolo munyu muzu foot. mhlazana ngithole umsuthu eBloemfontein siyahamba futhi sidayisa le so ngicina ngiloko ngiyenza imali mina
Yeah.
ngithatha from government and ngithatha government, I'm taking it from taxpayers. How is this all controlled ukuthi masimnikezile usiduka kanye iRDP akaphindanga ayithola?
So this is possible that corner layer loophole which needs to be addressed by city councils noma masipala bethu, because once it's transferred to you, you know, you proceed, it's yours, it's in your name, you just have to comply with the transfer, it's within that time period. Otherwise you can do as you please, because now it's your property. So I think you are raising a very valid point, and it's something that should be looked into by umasipala, to whether the transfer should go straight back to umasipala, and then the person who was next in line of you is going to be entitled to it, and for it not to be sold to a third party, which that is possible. That could also be another clause in a title deed, sale should only be back to the municipality and nobody else. So it's something that has not really been addressed, and it's a loophole. I think it's worth the discussion. Yeah.
Interesting. It's 59 minutes after the hour, 4 o'clock. Mntakwethu ngiyakubonga. Thank you so much for joining us namuhla. I hope that we'll have you once again, once in a while. Ngiyajabulisa ukubona ubuso obuhlenyana man. Hayi sokusibhekane nabondothoni.
Oh, ngiyabonga kakhulu, ngiyabonga. Thank you for your opportunity, and I enjoyed my time here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So another important point. Mabakhuluma ngama attorney fees. Does it come to you as an attorney, or it goes to the company that you work for?
It goes to e-company, and then based on the agreement, a percentage would go to that personal attorney which was running with the matter. Yeah.
Hi, Tony. Middleman madoda. Hayi
Yeah, kushubile kodwa isemhlabeni guys.
Thank you so much for joining us. So you're an attorney from which institution did you graduate from?
I am at Eunice and Stroley Attorneys.
Okay, and then the university that you graduated from, it's which one?
So I attended the University of Pretoria, where I accomplished my BCom law degree as well as my LLB degree. And then I did my articles of clerkship 2 years at McRoberts Attorneys while I was writing my board exams. And as soon as I passed my board exams, I got admitted as an attorney. Following that, I joined Eunice and Shirley, where I am at the moment. I wrote my conveyancing exams, and then this is where I am.
Wow, amazing. This is, we speak about women empowerment and women leadership, and this is a typical example of exactly that. Thank you so much for inspiring us.
Thank you so much.
Okay, have a lovely weekend, and thank you so much for just giving us such an amazing insight in terms of property.
Thank you for your time again. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesomeness. So I want to now move to this one. It's by the Kwabe Teens. It's a song titled Hamba. Yeah, it's 13 minutes after the hour, 5 o'clock, still right here on the Bagla Prayer and Tone FM 93.6. And Dada Tony Mampuru had a lovely chat there with a young, beautiful lady. I mean, doing very interesting things. It always gets to me when I see young people in our country doing amazing things. It's even worse because it is definitely women's month. So definitely would want to celebrate Black excellence, especially females, young females in South Africa doing the utmost. Tony, we're wrapping it up.
Yes, sir.
We're wrapping it up. We're back again same Tuesday next week.
Next week, Tuesday. Yes.
We've got coming through. Yes.
So I just wanted to give out my details in case there's anyone that perhaps is considering selling their property. I'd appreciate if they were to leave me a WhatsApp message on this number. It's 0833080043. Let me repeat it. 0833080043. So if you have any questions, for instance, with regards to selling your property, or you are considering selling your property, please leave me a message on WhatsApp. And then what I'll do for you is I'll just give you a comparable market analysis to show you how much your property can sell for in this current market. And I'll do this absolutely for free.
Wow, interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, this is where we leave it. Thank you so much for your contribution for today. We meet again next week.
Most definitely. Have a wonderful weekend.
Awesomeness. Have a great one, my brother.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Awesomeness. So we go to more music before I let you go. Semit on this one, he says Ungo Wami. Good afternoon, Tony.
I love you like I'll never love again. I love you cause I know when you got a friend. Yeah, boy, I love you cause you love me. That's never late. I'm proud of everything that you accomplished. But then time that over, you've been my accomplice. Time that over, wrong time that when I was tarnished. That I would die another day just to come with you. I appreciate the life that we share together. But I love you for the life we brought here together. I love you through the distance. I love your texts, your kisses, and I love the sex. But it hurts when the rumors come out. You took who and who out, and I'm just human to doubt that. I wanna stay, I should take this, right? I love you, but I hate this love.
Siyadeka, siyakhala, uyahamba baby uyahlala, uyangilahla, uyangibamba, ngiyasifela ngawe. Siyadeka, siyakhala, uyahamba baby uyahlala, uyangilahla, uyangibamba, ngifela ukuthi ngiyathanda, kube kuyana, ngabe kudingana.
You said, I love you so much, I hate it. I hate the fact that I gotta say this. I hate that all you see is girls naked. I hate the fact that you don't choose to see the hatred. Look, don't get me wrong, I don't hate you. I hate how you hate how I make what you hate. Look, I hate leaving you alone. I hate that I'm late when we're speaking for song, but that's what it takes to stay afloat. Real talk, that's what it takes to raise a daughter. Real talk, now I'ma love you from this life to the next. But that's why I hate this life that you accepted. Shit, I hate how this shit happens. I hate how I'm making it a rehab. How you believe every basic shit. Love you, I hate that shit.
Siyadeka, siyakhala, uyahamba baby uyahlala, uyangilahla, uyangibamba, ngiyasifela ngawe. Siyadeka, siyakhala, uyahamba baby uyahlala, uyangilahla, uyangibamba, ngifela ukuthi ngiyathanda, kube kuyana, ngabe kudingana. Nothing always easy, that much I don't know. Now you're right or die, I'll never let you go. Ngifela ukuthi ngiyathanda, kube kuyana, ngabe kudingana. Ngiyasifela ngawe, awusenona amandla, okukekelela usalayo ngathanda.
Twenty-five after 5 o'clock. This is Quest with the song titled Nyazifela Ngawe. Tony, this is where we leave it. I'm back again next week. We'll look at same time. Different topic, of course, and we're looking at numerous other issues with regards to our programming. But of course, thank you so much, each and every person that joined us. I know that it was a different terrain today with YouTube, but I get it will live. It's a Friday. As we call it, it's a Friday. I hope you guys are having a fantastic, afternoon or evening at home with your loved ones. Remember to stay home and stay safe. We can beat this. We can beat this corona. Interesting news. South Africa has reached just over 75% in terms of the recovery rate. That is good news for us. But also we continue to say rest in power to Bob Mabena, a fallen radio legend. Tony, this is where we leave it for today. TNS on this one featuring Pumi, the song titled Umona. Akube mnandi.